All right, let's get right into it. Today, we are talking about a full-on roadmap to becoming a cloud engineer. And this is specifically for you if you're thinking, hey, I want a great career in tech, but maybe I'm not super excited about spending all day, every day, deep in code.
It's a feeling a lot of people have. The tech world is fascinating, right? You want in. But the idea of grinding through complex algorithms and data structures, it just doesn't light a fire in you. If you're more about building systems, solving problems, and just tinkering with new tech, then believe me, you are in the right place. Because cloud engineering really could be your perfect answer. It's a field that's in huge demand, and it leans on a totally different, but just as important, set of technical skills. So to kick things off, let's break down what the cloud even means. Okay, so what in the world are we even talking about when we say the cloud? And more importantly, why is it basically the engine running almost every modern company you can think of? Getting this is step one. The craziest thing is how simple the idea really is. At its core, cloud computing is just renting. That's it. Instead of buying and managing their own giant, expensive servers, companies just rent the computing power or storage they need from providers like Amazon's AWS, Google's GCP, or Microsoft Azure. And this really shows you the before and after picture. The old way meant huge upfront costs for all this hardware, plus you had to manage it all yourself, 24/7, even if you weren't using it much. The cloud just completely flips that on its head with this pay-as-you-go model. You only pay for what you use, and you can get more or less power instantly. For a business, this is a total game changer. It means huge savings and incredible flexibility. All right, so we get what the cloud is. Now, how do you actually start building the skills to work with it? Well, it doesn't actually start in the cloud. It starts with two foundational pillars of knowledge that everything else is going to stand on. These two, right here, they're non-negotiable. Seriously, before you ever even touch a cloud dashboard, you have to get a really solid grip on how operating systems work and how networks talk to each other. These are the absolute fundamentals.
So for step one, you're going to want to focus on Linux. Why? Because pretty much every server in the cloud runs on it. You got to know the basics. How does the system even start up? How does it handle memory or manage the hard drives? If you put in a couple of hours a day, you can get a really good handle on this stuff in about a month.
Okay, next up, networking. You absolutely have to know how DNS, which is kind of like the internet's phone book, works. Things like IP addresses and routing are key. In the cloud, you're always connecting things together, so understanding security protocols like SSL to keep data safe is crucial. This step, it could take you anywhere from a couple of weeks to a month, just depending on how deep you dive. Okay, so you've built your foundation. You've got operating systems and networking down. Now it's time to take all that theory and get our hands dirty in the actual cloud. You can pick any of the big three to start: AWS, GCP, or Azure. And here's the best part. They all give you free trial accounts with free money or credits to play around with. This is so important. You have to get in there and actually do things. Spin up a virtual machine, set up a web server, create a storage bucket. This hands-on practice is where you really learn, and it's what's going to impress people later. So you've done the reading, you've put in the practice time. How do you actually prove to an employer that you know what you're doing? Well, that's where certifications come into play. But listen, this is a super important point. So many people just chase the certificate thinking it's some kind of magic ticket to a job. But the real goal is the knowledge. The certification is just the piece of paper that proves you have it. So please, focus on actually learning this stuff, inside and out first. Once you really know it, then go and crush that exam. And if you're just starting out, these three are fantastic first goals. Now, the skills transfer pretty well between them, but it's a good idea to just pick one provider to focus on at first. So whether it's the AWS Certified Solution Architect, GCP's Associate Cloud Engineer, or the Azure Administrator Associate, any one of these is a great way to make your skills official. All right, now for the last piece of the puzzle. How do we take all this work, all this learning, and turn it into an actual job offer? Let's talk strategy. First, you got to get the basics right. Build a resume that screams skills, not just job titles. Make sure you highlight all those cool little hands-on projects you did with your free account. And don't just wait until you're certified to start talking to people. Start networking now. Connect with recruiters and other engineers on LinkedIn while you're still learning. Trust me, it'll pay off. And here is a pro tip that can honestly change everything. Instead of just clicking apply on 100 job posts online, put your energy into getting referrals. Reach out to those connections you've been making.
An application that comes in from an employee inside the company, it gets way, way more attention than one that just shows up in a giant digital pile.
So there you go, a full roadmap from zero to cloud engineer. And solid proof that you do not have to be a coding genius to have an incredible career in tech. You've got the foundational steps, the hands-on plan, and the job hunting strategy. The only question left is, what's your first step going to be?